Hey guys, what's going on? Steve, I'm back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Warhammer. And the topic for today's video is a bit of a fun one. This is the top 5 worst Warhammer 40k fan theories. Pretty interesting. But let me know if you believe or believed in any of these fan theories. I wonder if I know any of them. Let's find out. Here we go.
If you know anything about Warhammer 40k, then you know its storyline is absolutely massive, and it has some of the deepest lore out of any franchise that's currently being produced. Its scope is frankly ridiculous, and as much as I love 40k's lore, it can definitely be a bit overwhelming and oftentimes frustratingly cryptic. Because of this, Warhammer has seen a huge uptick in fan
I understand
theories,
they want
where
mysteries
fans are
and
putting
things like
together
that.
all of the pieces and trying to figure out what's really going on under the surface. I'm going to start this video off by letting you know that I absolutely adore fan theories. I love how much work, dedication, and most importantly passion the community puts into them. And that hard work has given me and my buddies hundreds of hours of entertainment as we crack a few beers and discuss them at length. Now, all that being said, there is a huge difference between a good fan theory and a bad one. And let me tell you, there are a whole heap of bad ones out there. From a theory that states that everything we think we know about the climactic final battle between the Emperor and his corrupted son, Horus, is fundamentally wrong. A theory that states that the infinite horrors of the Tyranids is only a precursor to something far worse. And a theory about a particular Primarch that not only do I absolutely hate, but it's indicative of a far deeper problem within certain sections of the community. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more, so come with me as we deep dive into the grimdark. But before we get into all that, I wanted to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Into the AM, makers of some of the best graphic tees available on the internet. I've been wearing these things for about a year now, and I can honestly say without question that they are by far my favorite t-shirts that I own. All of my buddies down at my Warhammer store will attest I wear them pretty much every day. They're super comfortable and have some pretty wild designs that are loud, colorful, and super vibrant. But the best part about them is that the entire time that I've been wearing them, I haven't experienced any shrinking or fading at all, which as somebody who wears a lot of graphic tees, I can tell you that's a very common problem. They're also a little bit longer than a normal t-shirt, which is great for me because I was blessed with the frankly bizarre body type of broad shoulders, long torso, and short corgi legs. So to my other obtusely structured homies out there, when I tell you that these shirts don't ride up every time you lift up your arms, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and why these shirts are the best. The crazy thing about Into the AM shirts is they're actually super reasonably priced, as you can get a bundle of 3 of their basic shirts for only $52.95, or 3 of their graphic tees for only $61.95. And on top of that, if you use the link in the description of this video, or discount code WESHAMMER at checkout, you can save an additional 10% off your entire order. Big thanks to Into the AM for being such a great longtime supporter of this channel and for sponsoring this video. Okay, now back to the grimdark.
Sanguinius was the one to kill Horus and mortally wound the Emperor. The idea of this theory is that what we believe we know about the final battle between Horus and the Emperor is fundamentally wrong. Now, the lore tells us that what happened was Horus killed Sanguinius before confronting his father, wherein he successfully mortally wounded the Emperor, but Big E turned around and shattered his soul so thoroughly that he would never be able to come back.
The
theory recontextualizes these events
bring him back,
and
which is
says
understandable.
that Sanguinius actually gave in to the Black Rage and managed to kill Horus. But then the Emperor was forced to put him down, as the blood-crazed Sanguinius ended up mortally wounding him. Okay, I despise this theory. It adds nothing to the story, gives us no deeper context or insight into a series of events, and exists only as character assassination and tarnishes Sanguinius' sacrifice and his legacy. There is nothing that supports this idea. It exists only as a twist for the sake of being a twist.
That's pretty cool.
And don't get me wrong, I love me a good twist. But much like there are good fan theories and bad fan theories, there are good twists and really, really, really bad twists. A good twist is something that you could have seen coming. It's an outcome that was right there in front of you all along.
And you just didn't
have the context to put all of the pieces together. And then when it is finally revealed, it blows your mind and recontextualizes all of the events that preceded it.
Because you go back and you see all the little clues and stuff like that right there in front of you.
Takes away. You're gonna hear me say this a lot in this video, but it's dumb and I hate it. We've only got one more Siege of Terra book to go, and I hope in my heart of hearts Games Workshop does not think this is a good direction to go with the story. As much as I hate this theory because it's simply based in the fact that the book where this event takes place hasn't been released yet, the next theory that we're going to talk about is way worse by comparison, as it's built off of the most seemingly innocuous statement and has run completely out of control. The Tyranids are running away from a far more powerful and unknown enemy. So the idea of this theory is that the Great Devourer, the Tyranids, the infinite swarm that without question came from outside of our galaxy, is not only here because it wishes to consume us, but more importantly is running away from something far more powerful. This is an idea that has run wild throughout the community for many years.
We don't know what else is out there.
Has no real evidence to support it other than one vague mention in the fluff segment of some of their older codexes. For the most part, I absolutely hate this theory, and I'll tell you why. To me, it ruins what the Tyranids are. They're supposed to be this big, massive threat, an entity our galaxy was wholly unprepared to fight against, and now it's rampaging through the Imperium's worlds with no real hope of being stopped. Although the hive mind itself...
I mean, I guess I could kind of understand it. One, we obviously don't know what else is out there, because who knows what the hell is out there. There could be a bunch of unknown horrors. There could be new Xenos alien races out there. There could be new creatures and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe there could be something more bigger and powerful out there. And I don't know, maybe, yes, the Tyranids are running away from it. And as they are running away from it, they're attacking all these planets, you know, killing everything and absorbing their, biomass and stuff like that. So that way they can evolve and learn and then maybe take on what's out there. I don't know, just a thought, as we're running away, coming across all these new races and stuff, what if we attack them and kill them and, gain their bioessence or whatever they want to call it, so that way we can evolve and get stronger and then fight. I don't know. Maybe a bit of a stretch. I don't know.
Itself is an enigma wrapped in a mystery, and we still don't know much about it. The Tyranids are a pretty straightforward enemy. They are the Great Devourer. They are hunger-given form, soulless, emotionless, and singularly focused on their drive to consume. Trying to shoehorn this idea that they're running from something even scarier than them completely eclipses what they're supposed to be. They are the archetype of the intergalactic horror. That's already been established. We don't need a secondary alien that fills that role. It doesn't add anything to the story, but it lessens the Tyranids. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of speculating on what else could possibly be out there.
Right, because we don't know.
This particular thing be tied to the Tyranids' origins is just stupid. It also doesn't really make any sense considering that the Tyranids are currently attacking from all directions. The galactic push from the west, with High Fleet Leviathan being the most recent development in their lore with the release of 10th edition. Is this other super secret threat also in every other galaxy and also coming from every direction? It's dumb and I hate it. The only source I've been able to track down that even talks about some other alien chasing down the Tyranids comes from their 8th edition codex, where the author theorizes what could possibly be drawing them here. He gives multiple explanations. Running from something even bigger is only one of them. Even still, a certain section of the fandom has latched onto this one particular example and blown it completely out of context. When it comes to 40k's lore, and codexes in particular, the majority of their fluff segments are written in-universe by an author that exists in that setting. They're not privy to all of the information that we as the audience have, and thus they often leave out large portions of established lore, instead relying on phrases like "it could be," or "some say," or "legend has it," to allude to concepts established in the novels, or pretend like they don't exist for the sake of creating intrigue. My major supporting evidence for this is the fact that this fluff entry doesn't mention the Pharos device at all, which by all accounts is considered to be what drew the Tyranids to our galaxy in the first place when Dantioch overloaded it. Since that
What
happened
is
during
it?
the Horus
The
Heresy,
Pharaoh's
pretty much
device?
all record of it most likely does not exist within the time frame that this particular author is writing this passage. So, since they wouldn't have access to that information, it makes complete sense that they wouldn't talk about it here and would instead come up with a bunch of other random reasons for why the Tyranids possibly came to the Milky Way. We as the audience are privy to a lot more information than the in-universe author within this codex. But all that being said, that hasn't stopped a certain group of fans from latching onto this concept out of context and running away with it. So in conclusion, this theory's
Okay,
dumb and I
yeah,
hate it,
fair
and I hope
enough.
Games Workshop never does anything with it. But I don't hate it nearly as much as the next theory we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Machine spirits are nothing more than misunderstood AI. The idea of this theory is that machine spirits, the ethereal sentience that is said to exist within all machines, from the humble las rifle all the way up to the massive void ships of the Imperium, are nothing more than misunderstood AI. And the knowledge that all of humanity's machines rely on artificial intelligence, something that is strictly forbidden within the Imperium and the Adeptus Mechanicus,
Yeah,
is a
'cause didn't the Emperor
closely
not
guarded
like it?
secret, only known by those
was
at the
against it?
absolute top of the hierarchy. This is dumb, and is a trend with fan theories that I find stupid once again, because it takes an established, interesting concept within the universe and tries to apply real-world, simple logic to it in a way that fundamentally ruins the idea. Just because AI is banned within the Imperium doesn't mean that its many scientists are not intimately familiar with AI as a concept. They know what it is capable of, and why humanity should be afraid of it. If their society was literally filled to the brim with
understandable.
AI and they were constantly relying on it, somewhere at some point, one of these millions of scientists in the universe would have pointed this out. What machine spirits actually are is technically unknown and intentionally vague, but they are without a doubt a very real phenomenon. It's been documented in and out of universe thousands of times over. We have
Really?
numerous examples of ships being able to communicate with their navigators, or titans refusing to fight if they are not shown the proper respect through religious ceremony. Or in some extreme circumstances, a titan may reject their pilot and attempt to dominate and overpower their mind.
Oh,
I
wow.
love all of the discussions and debates about what machine spirits are and their purpose within the universe.
I
but
didn't know that.
reducing them to just AI is like this weird gotcha that just shuts down all meaningful and insightful discussion. As brutal as I've been with these last couple of theories, the next one we're going to talk about, I have mixed emotions on. Because on one hand, I think it's the greatest thing ever, and on the other hand, I want Games Workshop to never touch it. Literally
Okay.
anything involving the two missing legions and their Primarchs.
Oh.
What happened to the two missing legions and their Primarchs is potentially one of 40k's most famous mysteries.
Yeah.
And it's one that I hope never gets answered. The entire point of the missing legions is that they're supposed to exist as a blank slate for players of the tabletop game
Right, that's
to
what I
come up with
thought.
their own custom legion or
Yeah.
chapter and customize them in any direction that they
Right,
want.
that's what I thought.
That has always been their point.
Yeah.
So in turn, by projecting our own theories onto them and what happened to them and who they were, we are engaging with them exactly as was intended by the creators of Warhammer 40k.
Right.
I love the theories about what happened to the missing Primarchs. I love theories about their legion, who they were and what they were like, and what led to them being purged.
Yeah.
I love the tiny vague mentions we get throughout the Horus Heresy, where a character will allude to something having happened to them, which will then quickly be followed up by another character.
But then I guess that can also kind of like, I don't know, it can also kind of screw with the lore and stuff like that. Well, this is my chapter, and, this was our Primarch and stuff like that, but, there's no record of it, and you can't really, I guess it just kind of like screws with the lore and stuff like that, which is why a lot of people in some of my previous videos were saying, every time I said, oh yeah, that's why they made these two missing Primarchs, was so you could, make your own, chapter and, kind of do your own lore. But then people are like, no, that's not why they did it, because, then it would screw with, the lore and stuff like that, because there is, no lore, and you can't be like, well, this was my Primarch here, and, this is how he died, and, he went and, defended Sanguinius somewhere here, but there's actually no record of, ever meeting them or something like that. And it just kind of screws with the lore. I mean, I kind of would like to know what happened to him. Like, what did they do that was so bad to be completely expunged from existence? And no mention, no records, no nothing. When we have Horus, who went full traitor and converted 8 of his other brothers to chaos and led a massive civil war against the Imperium. I mean, that is pretty serious. And yet we still have records and know everything all about him and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe because that was such a wide-scale event, you can't just be like, yeah, that never happened. Horus who? It's like, no, you can't do that. There was, like, 1 million men, so many Space Marine chapters and stuff fighting this battle here against Horus and stuff like that. You can't be like, yeah, that never happened. Who's Horus? So I mean, I guess that makes sense that they can't, erase Horus and stuff like that. But it's just like, what did the other 2 do? That could get them just completely erased from existence. I mean, it could have been something really, really bad, and just not many people knew about it, and that's why it was just easy to erase it, because it's like, yeah, there's only just these couple of people that that knew about it. I don't know, but I mean, I kind of would like to know at least what did they look like and stuff like that, because there is a lot of really cool pictures and stuff of fan art and stuff like that of what they could look like, and a couple of them are actually pretty badass looking. I mean, I don't know, I'd be very curious. There's theories that one of them is possibly down in the black cells, dark cells, whatever it is, the cells under Terra and stuff like that. Like, one of them could be there. I think it's like called, what's test subject or subject 11 or something like that. And people are saying it could be one of them down there. I don't know. I kind of like to know, but I get the point of, it still being a mystery and stuff. I don't know.
They're going, shush, 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 we swore we would never speak of them again, or something along those lines. Literally any fan theory, no matter how ridiculous, overcomplicated, or seemingly on the surface stupid, based on the missing legions,
cool.
is, in my opinion, fantastic. And I encourage all of them. On the other hand, I want Games Workshop to leave them as they are, never ever touch the missing Primarchs or their legions. Fundamentally, as they exist as a blank portrait for the fans to imprint their own ideas onto, if they were to bring one or both of them back, it would ruin the entire concept. Not to mention, since there's no real established lore.
Well, I mean, you don't need to, like, bring them back, just maybe this is what happened to them, and this is what happened to their chapter and their Space Marines and stuff like that. I mean, you don't need to, you don't need to bring them back into the lore. You can just say this is what happened. Like, I keep wow. And a lot of videos, they talk about. I gotta learn more about it. The Randon Xeno Saga, something like that. And apparently, it was really bad or something like that. I gotta learn more about it, but maybe they were there and fell in battle there or something like that. I mean, you don't have to bring them back into the lore. You can just, this is how they died, and something like that. The Emperor sent one or both off on some sort of unsanctioned mission or something like that, and they failed, and he did it to cover their tracks, so nobody would know this is what they did. I don't know, just a thought. This looks kind of cool.
there, whatever they decide to do with them would essentially be pulled right out of their ass. So, in conclusion, any and all fan theories about the missing legions and their Primarchs get a pass from me. Fantastic stuff. Games Workshop, you leave this one alone. As big of a fan as I am of people coming up with their own interpretations of the missing legions, the next theory that we're going to talk about is something that seriously gets under my skin for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
Perturabo is actually not a demon. This theory states that the Primarch Perturabo of the Iron Warriors has not become a demon, but instead has ascended to something similar through his own designs. Now, some variations of this theory state that he has become more machine than man, whereas others say that he has become entombed in some kind of massive dreadnought-like war engine. For all intents and purposes, he is definitely something way more terrifying than what he was during the Horus Heresy, but most importantly, he is definitely not a demon. This idea comes from the fact that the Iron Warriors in more recent lore don't tend to focus on the use of demons as allies nearly as much as many of the other traitor factions.
Demonic machine.
And Perturabo as a Primarch is portrayed as being a cold, logical genius that saw the use of demons, possessed, or people who have given themselves over to chaos in pursuit of their own selfish agendas as an unpredictable variable in his grand war machine. Don't get me wrong, I can understand where this idea comes from, but I think it's misguided. First and foremost, we absolutely know that Perturabo has ascended to demonhood. That is established canon, and if you're curious about it, I did make an entire video explaining this and looking into just exactly how it happened. There's a link in the description if you want to know more. Although there are still a lot of unknowns on why exactly this occurred, the story about his transformation indicates that it was a personal choice to do so, and based on a particular scene in one of the Siege of Terra novels, Perturabo believed that he was far more logical and rational than his brothers, and thus would be able to control the powers of chaos, not becoming a slave to them like the others had, and even going as far as circumventing the ruinous powers altogether to become a brand new chaos god. When Perturabo inevitably returns to the 40k setting, I'm sure that we'll get a novel that makes a lot of this more clear.
Oh, of course.
There's no room for debate on this. Perturabo is a demon. That happened. So the theory is fundamentally incorrect. But to me, it's indicative of a much more personal pet peeve I have with fan interpretations of characters in fantasy settings, and it gets me a little bit riled up, so just so you know, there's going to be a rant coming. Some fans have a tendency to pick one or a small handful of traits a character demonstrates and make that their entire existence.
Like, what's that? Maybe he'd be like one of those, oh crap, what are they called? Great, now I gotta go to the website. What, they got like 4 legs and like lobster claw hands. Oh god, what are they called? Armies of Chaos, units, I think it's like a heavy, walker? Oh, no, I don't want Cast Demon. A Soul Grinder. What if he was like one of those? I mean, it's part demon and part machine. I mean, that'd be kind of cool if he was one of those. I don't know. Just a thought.
Any action the character takes that deviates from this strict set of arbitrary principles that the fan has imposed on them is condemned as bad writing, even if that handful of traits was never viewed by the author as defining pillars of their character. This leaves the fan in question, demanding a story where a character is expected to always act in a way that adheres to the fan's interpretation of the character's logic, with no room for errors, character flaws, growth, regression, or even in the case of Perturabo, the established manipulating properties of chaos that may have influenced his decision to become a demon. All of these things I just mentioned are what make a well-defined and engaging character. Furthermore, in my opinion, a well-written character is one that has relatable characteristics, one that can experience growth, whether it be positive or negative, can feel conflicted on certain things, has emotional breakthroughs and regressions, and is not some infallible robot that has every decision they make dictated by one or two defining principles. I've seen so many bad takes
Understandable.
online where people accuse a Black Library author of being a hack because they feel a character acted in a way that doesn't confine to their limited interpretation of what that character is supposed to act like, even if said example occurred late in the story and everything that preceded it built to the moment and it made perfect sense. And God forbid the situation in question ever ends up being open-ended with a lot of different interpretations. Then we end up with hundreds of armchair Primarchs coming out of the woodwork to shout about how that one book they read, or more often, the one excerpt they read, honestly, even more accurately, the one secondhand retelling of the one excerpt that they heard from a friend doesn't line up with how they think a character has to act in every possible situation. In my personal opinion, I think that Perturabo has definitely become a victim of this, and the idea that he could ascend to demonhood is really not that far-fetched. Was Perturabo a logical genius, and more importantly, did he view himself that way? Kind of. He was without question incredibly gifted, but despite his claims to the contrary, was withholden to his emotions like the rest of his brothers. He was also a deeply bitter person that resented his father and the praise that he gave his brother Dorn. Praise he felt he never received, no matter how hard he worked or what he was able to accomplish. This bitterness consumed him and caused him to make rash decisions and lose himself to his rage on numerous occasions. Hell, the main reason Horus managed to win him over to his cause in the first place was because Horus told him, "Hey bro, I appreciate you and all the hard work you do." And that meant a lot to Perturabo.
You want to join me?
He is a deeply flawed, egotistical character, just like all of the Traitor Primarchs, and that's the point. It's what makes him so interesting, and despite himself thinking he is somehow above chaos, he is coordinating demon assaults during the Siege of Terra, and firmly believes that he is the one, that he can control chaos, which, coincidentally, is actually exactly the kind of mindset that chaos tends to prey on. From a storytelling perspective, to me, it makes total sense that he would decide to become a demon. It only doesn't make sense if you ignore the emotional aspects of his character and truly think that he's just some merciless, logic-driven machine. That's only part of his character, and when you boil him down to that, you remove the most interesting parts about him. He's not just a logical genius, but a deeply flawed and neglected son of the Emperor. A troubled man who, having been scorned by his father and his brothers, will force the universe to acknowledge him through great and spectacular violence. And if ascending to demonhood will help him accomplish that goal, he will seize that power of chaos for himself. Or at least that's what he believes he is doing. All of that is a way more interesting, believable, and realistic character than just this robotic archetype summarized by Chaos Bad. So in conclusion, the theory is false. It doesn't make any sense. We know Perturabo is a demon. Right. And honestly, I think that's pretty neat. With how absolutely massive and oftentimes cryptic the Warhammer 40k franchise tends to be, there are limitless avenues open to its audience to speculate on the true intentions of its characters, the reality behind fundamental pillars of its storytelling, and how seemingly innocuous elements can come together to create much deeper meanings. Fan theories encourage us to examine the things that we think we know, and ultimately inspire some truly amazing, thought-provoking, and admittedly oftentimes deeply controversial debates over the deeper meanings of Warhammer's text. It's without a doubt the fundamental reason I have latched on to this series so much more than any other. There's more room for discussion and interpretation than any other franchise I can think of. All that being said, as much as I love fan theories, there is a huge difference between a good fan theory and a bad one.
Right.
A good fan theory can string together multiple scraps of lore from dozens of different sources and weave them together into a cohesive narrative that opens our minds to possibilities we had never even dreamed possible, and create a hypothesis that ultimately makes sense and remains grounded within the established lore. But for every good fan theory, there are hundreds of bad ones. Bad fan theories are a dime a dozen. They are the theories that offer no substantial contribution to the overall collective discussion about 40k. They are the theories that twist and alter themes, characters, and motivations into something that is not only unrecognizable from the source, but ultimately lessens the message the author was trying to get across. It should go without saying that what makes
Fair
a
to
fan
say.
theory good or bad is completely subjective, and it's up to interpretation by the individual. And if any of the theories that we talked about in this video resonate with you, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let me or anybody else tell you what is the correct way to interpret text or enjoy a franchise that is fundamentally designed to be entertainment. At the end of the day, this was just my personal list of fan theories that tend to get under my skin, and every once in a while, I need to vent about something. But what are your thoughts on all this? Do you agree with this list? Do you actually like some of these theories, or do you think they're super dumb? Are there some other theories that I didn't mention in this video that you'd love to hear me
Interesting.
talk about if I was to do a follow-up? I'm always curious to hear what y'all think, and as you know, I read
kinda
pretty
hope he
much
does a
every
video
single
talking
comment
about the,
that everybody posts.
top
Like, I
5
can't help myself, it's a
best
compulsion.
fan
Anyways,
theories.
big
That'd
thanks
be
to everybody who
interesting.
supports the work that I do, and I will catch you all in the next one.
I wouldn't mind if he did a video talking about the best fan theories. That'd be kind of cool to see. What are some of the best fan theories? Yeah, pretty interesting. I don't know, like the Tyranid one, the Blood Angel, Sanguinius, and stuff like that. No. Yeah, I can't really see that one. The Tyranid one, mixed, you know. I get his point, you know, being the great devourer and stuff like that, and they just want to eat and coming from all different sides and stuff like that. Okay, but I don't know, maybe there is, I don't know, like another alien race out there that's like, we must purge all Tyranids and stuff like that, and you know, they're vastly superior. I don't know, maybe that one is a bit of a stretch, you know, and the Tyranids running away. Yeah, I don't know. That one I'm kind of like, 50-50. I don't know. No, maybe not even 50-50. I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave the Tyranid one out of it. I don't know. Kind of mixed on that one. The AI one, yeah, no, I can't really see that one really happening. You know, I think the Emperor was against AI and stuff like that, so yeah. Then of course the Lost Primarch ones, you know, I gave my thoughts on that. You know, it's like, it'd be interesting to see, you know, who they were, what did they at least look like, you know, but I do get the appeal of keeping them out of it and stuff like that, for just being a mystery that just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, like I was saying, you don't have to bring them back, you know, like, oh yes, he was out there in the warp and blah 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 and he came back or something like that. You know, you don't have to do that. You can just be like, yep, Emperor sent them out on some sort of unsanctioned mission, they failed, and the Emperor just covered it up, and then we just kind of took the chapter of the Space Marines, broke them up, and put them into different chapters, and that was it. You know, maybe you could do something like that. This one here actually is pretty badass. I like that. White, blue, black, gold. Looks pretty cool. But yeah, it'd always just be interesting to see, like, at least what did they look like and stuff like that. Because like I've said, there is a lot of really cool fan art of a lot of them, and some of them actually look really badass. So, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people are mixed on that one there. And then, of course, Perturabo and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely some sort of demon. Like I was saying, maybe he'd be like I don't know, like a soul grinder, which would actually be kind of cool. I think that'd be a pretty badass thing to see. Perturabo is like a soul grinder, half machine, half demon and stuff like that. You know, it's got the 6 legs and like a lobster claw hand and stuff like that. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. I guess I'll have to wait and see. I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Fulgrim. I don't know, a snaky snake. What is it, a 4-armed snaky snake? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see. I can't wait to see Fulgrim's return, even though apparently he's a terribly written, from what I've heard, a terribly written Primarch, which is kind of a shame. I just really kind of want to see what his model would look like. Because, I mean, a snake with 4 arms. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so there we go. There are the worst fan theories. Let me know, what do you guys think? Do you think these are all terrible fan theories? Do you believe any of these? Just overall, just let me know what your thoughts are on some of these fan theories. Do you think some of these could be true? Could they be right? Like I said, like the ones, you know, I just kind of go for the Lost Primarch ones, and maybe the Tyranids, maybe, and that's a big maybe, a big stretch there. You know, because I mean, we have no idea what else is out there. There could be, I don't know, there could be many other things. There could be even more advanced races out there, even more advanced than the Eldar, maybe even more advanced than the Necrons. I don't know, maybe there could be, I don't know. I mean, we have no idea what else is out there in the universe, so I don't know. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. So, of course, leave me all your thoughts and comments. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. Come over, join me on Discord. We can chat more, suggest videos for me to watch. And, you know, just chat and hang out. So, anyways, other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way. And I will see you guys next time.